at one point my dad said, you know what, pursue further studies, and I was interested too. So go to US and find your life there.
Okay.
So yeah, right. And
That
I was
was
not
pretty
married. Yeah,
forward,
right.
pretty
I was
forward.
right. Yeah, I was 20 years old back then, and so that's when I had that zeal too in me to kind of go to US and have my life there. Actually, study first and then set up my life.
Okay.
So that's how I came here.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.
Hi Shweta, how are
Hi,
you?
Sanjana. I'm good.
Nice to see you today.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Yeah, so just had some questions from you. How was settling down in the country for you? USA, coming from India, how was it?
Yeah, that was long ago. It was really long ago. Um, some 20 years ago, right? That's what we are talking about.
Okay.
And back then, things were totally different.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't much communication or anything going on. You have to take that pay card and everything and call India.
Oh, yeah.
But let me start from the beginning, right? I'm the older child in family of 3 children
Okay.
with 2 awesome parents, like really awesome.
So the oldest sibling.
Older sibling, yes. And it's like, unlike most of the families in India, it's kind of a conservative family where they usually tend to protect girls, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That happens with most of the
Most
Indian
of the
families,
Indian
yes.
families,
And
yes.
it's because of the environment too. The
Yes.
girl got to be protected. So I was raised up in such a protected environment. Parents have given me like every possible thing for me to grow up and
Like pampering,
Yeah.
they were like completely.
I wouldn't say pampering, but they provided me everything related to my growth. In
Okay.
the sense that great education,
Okay.
awesome schools.
Alright.
Yeah, so it was really nice. Now, but
This was how you were growing up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was in a really protected shell.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, my dad said, you know what, pursue further studies, and I was interested too. So go to US and find your life there.
Okay.
So yeah, right. And
That
I was
was
not
pretty
married. Yeah,
forward,
right.
pretty forward.
Right. Yeah, I was 20 years old back then, and so that's when I had that zeal too in me to kind of go to US and have my life there. Actually, study first and then set up my life.
Okay.
So that's how I came here.
It was really nice of them to
Right,
send you.
yes.
This is when there was no WhatsApp.
That's
and
true.
there was no FaceTime. There's nothing like.
There was nothing back then, and even if you have to make a call to India, it was like calling card, and it's gonna cost you and all this stuff. So
Yeah. So that was.
so all that was there, but you can see there what I would call as more of a kind of enthusiasm where
Okay.
although they were protecting me for 20 long years,
Yeah.
now they are ready to send me because they are very confident that they taught me the values and the skills that are needed for me to be by myself.
Okay.
So I should have really appreciate that.
And did it happen because of any like change in the environment that time? Like something happened in the family, like people were leaving, or
Not
there
really.
was
I would say at least on my dad's family side, I'm the first one.
Okay.
But dad always knew that we would get a better education here
Okay.
when it comes to masters.
Okay.
So that's the reason he totally encouraged that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, right. So I came here. That's a totally different story. Like I came here not knowing anything, and that was the first time ever I even got onto an airplane, which was like delayed over and over, and I lost my baggage. So it was such a mess, right? The
wow.
first time experience was like huge mess. I did not know anyone. My English wasn't that good. So yeah,
It was not
it was
easy.
tough. It was not easy.
Did you come to California directly, or was it?
No, I went to Detroit. That was the landing airport,
Okay.
and from there I had to fly to St. Louis, and from there there is like a cab kind of thing I had to take to go to
Okay.
school. And you can imagine like a 20-year girl doing this for the very first time. Like she never got into any kind of airport.
Well, that was really courageous.
Flying, yeah, right. Yeah, it was tough. And when I came to the school, kind of survived there with the help of the friends. However, did not know anyone, did not know who to trust.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of
That was-
hanging there,
yeah.
like, going
So
through
you
the
made
studies
friends,
all
and that
stuff.
really helped you.
Yes,
Right,
yeah,
okay.
that really helped me. From there, I started looking for really small jobs so that I could support myself. And I still remember my first job is I worked for about $4.50 at McDonald's.
Oh wow.
Burger, yeah, right. I was grilling the patties
Oh, wow.
on the grill and the back end. So it was a tough job. I'm like, oh my
Did
god.
parents know that you were doing that? Like
Yes, yeah. But the beauty of that is I understood how tough it is to earn every single dollar. When you put the work, that's gonna come to you.
Yeah.
So that was like life lesson number one for me.
Okay.
Where without hard work there is nothing to be gained. And even that single dollar you earn takes really like tons of hard work.
Tons of
And
hard work.
that McDonald's job that I've done was like a kind of proof for me, where it was tough for me to kind of put so much of physical effort
Yeah.
just to earn few dollars, right?
Yes,
And that
yeah.
would have gotten me past a month with barely the expenses covered. That's it, with nothing really remaining.
Yeah. So you understand the value of money.
Right.
Like
Yes. So that
at
was
an early age you learned that.
right at a really early age, and that's what I would encourage most of our kids to do. Don't always look for that high-end job for the very first time. When you start from the lower level, you would understand what everybody would go through. What is everybody's mindset at every stage, of job hierarchy.
Like kind of
Right, yeah.
evolution, or you
Right,
can say that. Okay.
yeah. So that was really helpful.
Okay.
From there, it was as I told you, so that moment taught me the value of hard work, right? From there, it was so tough for me that the physical work by itself, I just couldn't take it and started looking for something else too. And then I bumped into a job as a receptionist in the library.
Oh.
But I got a late night shift, which means I have to start work at 10 in the night and I have to get out at 2 in the morning.
Oh, it was a 24 hour.
No, it's just like 4-hour shift, but 10 in the night to 2 in the morning, it's like a night shift.
But it was
4
open
hours.
that time. Like
It was open that time. Yeah,
Oh.
libraries, the school library was open until like 2 in the morning.
Okay.
But the problem is the school library was like, 3 miles away from
Where you lived.
where I lived, and there were no buses or anything.
Oh wow.
So somehow I took it because I just couldn't take the strenuous job at McDonald's. So I shifted this. This was good, calm and cool, but by the time I came back home, it was already 2 in the morning. So you should have seen me back then. I was like, I somehow gathered the courage and kept moving.
Especially at night, you're going. from
That's
there.
right. Yes. So, and I did that for many months.
Okay.
I was always afraid. I had to take a path where you got to go between the woods and reach the house. So there is no like direct,
like
kind of a
city.
yeah,
route.
right.
Okay.
Access there. There is like a shortcut way where you got to go through the woods.
Wow.
So yeah, it
That
was very
sounds
scary.
very scary.
Yes, it was very scary, but I did that. I had to do it. There was no other option. But that taught me courage, right? That taught me that in life you got to take risks.
So that was your second job.
Right, that was my second job, and that's what it has taught me. From there, okay, so I graduated
So you kept doing that job for a long time.
I kept doing that job for a long time, which kind of helped me survive. And again, throughout this process, I could have easily gone to my dad, who is a doctor back in India. I could have asked him for,
money
or anything. But at 20 years, I decided for myself that, you know what, I will not ask unless it's really, really needed. So that's why I was like kind of surviving on it. That's a principle I've set for myself. That's a standard I have set for myself. So I tried my best not to ask him anything, except for I think there was really an emergency situation. I asked for like a couple $1,000s. He really helped me with that. And he has been always asking me, you know what, can I help you with anything? But I said no. I pretended as though everything was going good.
Kind of.
Yes, I pretended as though everything.
Then you met your husband that time. So
that's right. So when I was like, working through the jobs and everything, I met my husband through my parents.
Okay.
The good thing about that is, our parents, they kind of left the decision to us.
Yes.
So we talked and we liked each other, and from then on, life was good.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's like two people working together.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And you have the support. You're no longer single. So, you know that there is someone you could trust.
Yeah.
Since then on, it was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So parents, you said they were in India. So you have younger siblings. They are also back home, or are they here?
I have two younger siblings. Sister lives in India. Brother is over here at US.
Okay. All right.
And when my brother came here, like few years after I've come here, I made sure that he is not going through whatever I had to go through and everything.
Yeah.
I gave him a lot of emotional support in that.
Yeah. That is good.
Yep.
So but parents are still back home, right? Is that how?
Parents are still back home. Yeah. Parents and in-laws are still back home.
Both parents. Okay.
Yeah.
And which part of India is that?
We are from Andhra Pradesh, and my mom's family, dad's mom's family lives over at Hyderabad, and my husband's family lives over at Tirupati.
Okay, and that's also in Andhra Pradesh, right?
That's in Andhra Pradesh.
Tirupati also. So you speak Telugu then,
Telugu,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Any challenges you had about food here, or was that taken, you were okay with that?
Well, in the beginning, I'll tell you, you will never complain about food when you come home hungry. So that was the state I was in. I used to work at McDonald's, and when I came home, all I needed was like something on my plate. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. So there is no luxury of picking, this curry or that curry or this kind of food or that kind of. Number one, there is no money. Number two, there are very limited options. Number three, there are no resources as such.
That's true.
Most of the times when I come home, there used to be just cooked rice, which one of my roommates would kind of keep the pressure cooker on, and she would cook it prior, and there will be nothing else other than rice. So you would just go with a pickle and rice. Or, once in a while when you get lucky, there will be a curry. Somebody has cooked, or it's my turn when I would cook. But, when students cook, you can understand the taste of it. It's like, you just survive. Right?
Yeah.
You just survive. So that was the situation.
There was no, you couldn't be picky, obviously, that time.
Right. The first days I was trying to be picky and everything. The first few days, I remember that. But the third day, there is no other choice. Like, I'm hungry and I gotta eat it. So that's it. I just had to have it.
You can't be eating fast food all the time, so you need some.
Right. And here's the thing. Those days were really different in the sense that you cannot afford fast food. I couldn't afford.
I know that's
even
true.
the $5. And I never could understand how anybody could spend so much of money. I was always looking for that $1 menu. I still know what you get for $1.
Yeah.
I would never go back to those restaurants again, but still, I remember those days. I exactly know where you get $1 food.
Yeah.
Where you have the $1 menu.
Yeah.
So really, that's what hunger teaches you, right?
The hunger, I know.
Yeah.
So, what is it you think anything, how that's oh my God, those were the good days. Do you ever say like that to those times? Anything, how sometimes we think about the past.
Yeah.
And even though it was hard,
yes.
I can sense that.
Yeah.
But you still say, oh, that was like, those were really good days. Do you ever say that?
I think about it like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
More from a standpoint that, you know what, because I've seen all that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here right now, like well settled in life.
Yeah.
And there is more to do, a lot more to do too. And because I've gone through all that, that has instilled that drive in me. If nothing of that sort has happened, if everything was given me, put on my plate, I would never had the drive to push myself in life. So I'm so thankful for the fact that I've gone through all that. And that is, those are the foundation stones for my life. Yeah, that's how I would look at it.
Anything that you feel nostalgic about from those days, like you know, sometimes like a taste of that chicken burger, that dollar menu, you know, when you said that, you know, I was like, yeah, sometimes you feel that, okay, that was very yummy, or that, you know, that yeah, anything you remember, like that, anything
Taco Bell,
nostalgic.
I remember that $1 bean burrito we used to get. That's what I remember. Yeah, to this day, it really tastes.
Remember the taste.
Not that I go to Taco Bell and order that in particular, but if I bump into Taco Bell and when I try to order that, that taste kind of takes me back to these days. Where, oh my God, yeah.
Like a deja vu, right?
That
brings you
good.
back there.
And when I eat something really good in terms of the Indian curries or anything, that would make me recall my mom. We used to like cook us really good food. So having eaten all that good food and going through the struggles in US and getting back to a point where you're looked upon as a person to get inspired from, inspired by. So those are the ups and downs and ups I've seen. Yes, kind of. Yeah, that's what I've seen in life. Yeah.
So you basically feel that those struggles made you what you are today, and you are inspiring to. You feel that you can inspire more people with those struggles. Like if there was no struggle, then there was nothing to really, it's something like
you will not turn out to be a diamond. That struggle, that pain is what is gonna turn a stone to a diamond, and that's what I believe in. If you want to be a diamond, just you don't have to wish for the struggle, but having struggle is gonna turn you into a diamond.
Turn into that, okay.
Right? So that's what I believe in totally.
So your message would be: don't be scared of the struggle. Would that be, or something else?
There are a lot of messages here in my story. I think it's more about don't be fearful of the struggle. Yes, always try to experiment with new things, see what fits you, and finally have the courage. Just go for it. Try it out and see how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
When you try 10 different things, you would understand, okay, what suits right for you. Yeah. And when you have a goal for yourself, I think the underlying thing is just push yourself until you reach there. Never ever give up.
Which is always a hard for especially when you are in that journey, of achieving something.
Yes.
The in between stage is the hardest, right?
I think you got it. Yeah, I think those intermediate stages, you would feel as though, can I really do it? Am I really capable of? So you start going through all those self-doubts. But here is the best thing, right? This is what my dad taught me. I've seen him reading books over and over as a child. That's what I've seen him. Like in his free time, he would always read books. Okay. And that's the habit I made for myself too. Okay. So those books are the ones which have helped me in those intermediate stages.
Okay.
When I couldn't express my struggle to my parents because they would feel bad.
You didn't want to share.
I didn't want to completely share. Wherever I could share, my dad always encouraged. So he could help me in some stages, in few of the stages. But there will always be those intermediate stages where you cannot express this to anyone. So there will be books which are going to uplift you. When you read biographies of really successful people, you will get to understand that, okay, your struggle is hardly anything. So that's going to take you further.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need help. It's just whom are you going to approach in terms of that help is something very personal to us.
Yes.
Some people have parents, some of them have good friends. For me, it was a mix of parents and great books. So yeah.
Okay. So basically, when you were reading, you could see like what struggles
That's correct.
they were
Yes,
going through, and then
that's
you
right.
could see that okay,
Yeah,
I need
I
to be.
could relate myself there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, some of those books are so fantastic that you got to read some of those biographies. They're so fantastic that after reading all that, you will feel as though what you're going through in your life, it's hardly anything. It's like your struggle is gonna seem to be very minuscule compared to what you're seeing there in terms of what they have gone through.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what is gonna pull you up.
Because mostly we always think like, oh my problems are
yes,
the worst.
my problems are the greatest and
Yeah.
the worst and all that stuff. But,
Yeah.
there are a lot of other people who have pushed themselves through everything they have gone through in life.
Yeah.
And they were like super successful, right? And that goes back to the analogy where the stone turns into diamond only when you go through, only when there's a lot of beating done, only when there's a lot of pressure applied. So yeah.
Okay. So when you say success, is it is financial success is the only success, or is it professional success, or is it something more? Like, how would you define success in general, like for anybody, like, or is it different for different people? Like, what do you think success for you is like?
Right. So yeah, I thought about this many times in my beginning of my career, like when I was in 24, 25. But what I felt was, after observing people, after reading some books, what I felt was you cannot like categorize success into one silo thing. For me, success got to be an overall thing. I want to be successful in everything I am passionate about.
Okay.
Like, for example, I'm passionate about raising a great family. So I want to be successful there. I'm passionate about showing myself as a unique person in terms of there are certain hobbies I've picked which kind of turned out to be part-time to full-time right now, like the investing world, financial investing world, or
you talked about that
real estate, or I want to be successful there, and I'm still working on it. But that's another area I choose to be, kind of successful in.
Okay.
I have thought about financial stuff too, but here's what I felt. When you excel with your qualities, like I wouldn't say quality, but when you excel with the talent you have, keeping, doing on the hard work over and over, that financial success is going to come to you.
Okay.
So what I felt was, as long as I focus myself on setting up a great family, raising awesome children, and follow my passion in terms of setting up a business, taking up my path in the financial world, that's gonna get me the money I want.
Money.
So I wasn't like really chasing money as such. I was chasing more the knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to do. Like I felt that this would be a good balance on the family end, as well as kind of providing what the family needs on the other end, and pursuing my passion. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, in what you said, in investments, that started with a hobby, but then you started reading more about it, and then it became like, okay, I could do it as a profession.
Yeah, that's what I felt. It started something like I was doing my IT job, but I wasn't completely satisfied. I just felt that, okay, I'm part of a big organization and everything, but what else, right? And I also knew that it wouldn't possibly take me to where I want to be in life. I want to really settle well and be an example. So I started exploring things, and that's when I bumped into real estate.
Okay.
But again, unlike any other field I picked, I did not have anyone. Like, I did not know anyone who was doing this, especially in the US. And we are talking about like 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I think people used to get like house, but I don't think people were thinking about investments in US per se, because mostly Indian community was about investing back in India.
Yes.
But I took a contrary route where I started investing in US.
Okay. All
Right.
Okay.
And how did I do it? I did not. Nobody has guided me with anything. All I did was I approached the books.
Went to the books.
I went to the books. I searched up in the internet. Even Google was good, but it wasn't giving all the search results. Whatever search results it gave me, I searched up, okay, best real estate books. And it gave me a bunch. I read like everything, kind of tried to understand everything what's in there. I took that up, and with a little, very, very little money I had, we bought this first condo.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
right. And then from there, once I started cash flowing and everything, I understood the power of it, and I started scaling it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was like very early on. I'm talking about like 10, 12 years ago. Yeah. So.
Okay.
But since then, I got hooked to it, and okay, yeah, this is working,
this
and
is
all
your
that stuff.
new
Yes.
exciting baby kind of new venture.
It is, yes.
Okay.
And I love the feeling that it wasn't the money I was excited about. It was more about, okay, nobody's doing this. Let me venture it out and see how that's going to work.
Okay.
Because nobody that I know is doing it. Other people are doing it, but
in your community, your friends.
Right, my friends. People used to laugh like when I talk about real estate. Back then, as an investment, this was like 10 years ago. But for me, going against crowd is what I like the most. The crowd goes one way, I want to experiment the other way. Because when you follow the crowd, your results are always going to be average.
Yeah.
When you take the other routes and see what's out there, that's when you will have superior results. Now, the cautionary thing here is you cannot take the other route without having any knowledge. You got to step in with knowledge. So that goes back to the lesson my dad taught me, where my dad over and over told me that you got to chase, in Indian culture, we have goddess of knowledge, we have who is Saraswati Devi, and goddess of wealth, who is Lakshmi Devi, right? He always told me that you chase goddess of knowledge, and goddess of wealth is gonna chase you.
Yeah.
So you don't chase goddess of wealth, you chase goddess of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I was after. I was after the pursuit of knowledge.
And the wealth
automatically falls in place. So that's exactly what I've tried to prove in the last 10 years.
So were you ever scared of these are big investments, right?
Yes.
Like investing in a condo.
Yeah.
So were you scared, what if this investment goes bad?
Right.
Yeah.
So you'll always have that skepticism. Now, here's what you need to do. When you read like 10 books, you would understand how to exactly look for those gems in the market.
Okay.
So you don't go there blindsided, right? You go there with good amount of knowledge. So that's how I went there. I have looked at I must have looked at 500 properties, and then I picked one. Because I knew that one matches my criteria in terms of the numbers.
Okay. All right.
So there is still work to be put in there. I did not take the one which I bumped into the very first time. You got to analyze that 500 different properties.
It is 500 and 1 out of 500?
Yes, yeah. And there was a point where I used to even look at 2,000 to just pick one.
Oh, okay.
Because you need to set a criteria, and all the knowledge you're going to pursue, that's what is going to set you the criteria, right? And then when you stick to that criteria, there will be many opportunities thrown at your way, but you know what to pick. Okay. So you're going to wait, and when it's time, you're going to jump and take it.
Okay.
That's what you do.
All right. So
and in that process, you may lose some. It's very rare that you get you get the very first one you try to hit. But you will lose, but you should not lose your heart, right? You just keep on trying. So the lessons to be taken here is, number one, you cannot go blindsided. You got to go and get in with knowledge. And number two, you got to persevere. You cannot kind of look at 5 things and say that, no, I'm going to give up at this point. No, it's not how it's going to work. You got to look at 500 different ones. Yeah. So that's the passion I had too. I definitely wanted to succeed.
So you did all that by yourself, and you developed knowledge.
Yes.
Followed the books
Yeah.
and read everything.
Yeah.
And then you developed some insight.
That's
But
right.
you were doing
Yes.
it by yourself.
I was doing it by myself. The good thing there is my husband encouraged. He supported financially totally. So I always knew that if I fail, there's always his job that I
Yeah.
can roll back to. And I was working too. I was not like I left
Yeah.
my job and I was
Yeah.
doing this. Because I'm experimenting, I always thought, okay, I can roll back. We still have the support and all that stuff. And he was encouraging. I got to appreciate him in that way. Initially, he was skeptical a little bit. But then when he started seeing those results one by one, then he's like, oh, wow, this is powerful.
So it must have been like it must have been like a process, right? Initially,
Yes.
you were thinking, and
Yeah.
then you're reading about it, and
Yeah.
then you're. So it must have taken time, and
Oh, it did,
Yeah.
yes. It took me like solid 2 years time just to gather courage for myself that I could do something like this. Because if you see our culture as such, and even anywhere in the whole world, we as women, I don't think we were ever told that, okay, you could be good with money, you can manage your own. We were not raised giving that notion. The control of money was always with the man of the house.
Yeah.
Always, all the time.
Yeah,
It's them who used to plan for the whole family.
yeah,
All the investments, all the financial stuff. But, I felt that we are capable too. We could be good with raising a family. We could be good with financial
With the
matters
numbers.
as well, with numbers too. Doesn't have to be like one way or the other. We could manage both.
yeah.
I think we can excel in both. So that's where I told myself I'm not going to compromise in anything in my life. We could be good at both. It's just if it's a matter of managing the family, excelling in that area of life, you got to take your mother's help, kind of take your friends' advice. But in the financial stuff, since nobody's there, you got to struggle by yourself. Where you could read books and whatever it is, but gain the knowledge.
Gain the
Right,
knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you were to encourage somebody to get into some financial, what is it that you would say? Like, okay, just kind of go read books, or like go online and read stuff. Is that, or a mix of everything? What would you say?
Yeah, if I think I wouldn't say whether only for those women, those who are interested in learning about financial stuff. I say that this is basic to all of us. This should be basic to all of us.
Okay, all right.
Right. That's what I'm stressing, because
So basically, what you're saying is intuitive. You can learn without reading, or you have to learn.
yeah, you got to do some reading and everything.
Reading.
But what I'm saying is, when you hand over your financial stuff, because you work all along, you make money and all that, but when you hand over it to your family, whether it could be husband, father, brother, whoever that is, the thing there is, there will be a situation where not everyone might be with you all the time, right?
Yeah.
There are, God forbid, but there are many families where those women have to live as single women. Now, until that point, husband was taking care of all the financial matters, and now you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't know what to do. I've heard a lot of these stories. So that's where basic financial knowledge is required, but for every woman.
For everyone.
I think this should have been taught in schools. For some reason, we don't have any of these courses in schools. And they push us out, and we are out there not knowing whom to trust with our money, right? So that's the issue you bump into. So whether you're a man, you're a woman, girl, boy, you got to have this basic knowledge about personal finances. When it's not that you're gonna work hard to earn that money, but you always need to know where to put that money.
Yeah.
How is that that $1 is gonna become $1.50 2 years from now or 1 year from now?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of knowledge you wanna acquire. at least protect that $1. What are you going to do about it? So as the basic knowledge, each one of us should have. And there are really like excellent books out there. Nowadays there are like really excellent resources too. So yeah, it's just people need to dig through that and
understand, like like example, leasing a car, renting a house, those kind of practical,
right?
Like what is the best, how much deposit you have to, those kind of
things,
practical,
right? Yeah. If you just type in Google about rental investing 101, you would get like 10 different books. Look for the highest rating ones and go with it. There are a few I could suggest you, but that's how I started totally. But here's the thing: never step into any of this without knowledge, without acquiring the knowledge by yourself. And sometimes there will be these people who organize deals and everything. They will tell you that, oh, you know what, give us your money, we'll take care of everything. But here's the thing: they're gonna take care of themselves first. And they'll think about your investment after taking care of themselves. So you better get equipped with the knowledge ahead of time. It's okay to invest with people, other people, but you should be intelligent to ask what kind of questions. The questions, and evaluate them, right? You cannot believe them like right away. So evaluate them and go with them.
So you exactly know what's happening, right?
What's happening. So for that, it goes back to the same thing. You still need to have that knowledge. So you got to study some basic things before you even could intelligently ask them few questions.
That is very interesting. So you started from IT and then program development, all that stuff, right?
That's right. So I'm still kind of in my career. I'm still in the IT world.
Okay.
I'm a process architect now. I do the program management, project management. So I do love my whole technology career on one hand, because it's got a lot to do with interacting with executive teams, kind of putting together all the decks and everything for them, leading a team, working with 10 different teams, 20 different teams, and moving those really complex projects. That's what I do at work. But I also have the other interest in this whole investing world, where I want to kind of prove myself and show that, as women, we are good with money aspect too. It's not like money, but the knowledge you have to gather behind, accumulating that wealth.
So basically, not just becoming like a passive person if in the financial sector, because most of the women do that, let the husband take care of all the finances.
Just take a step back.
Father or the brother.
Let them hand over. That's still fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just have some basic knowledge so that you can intelligently ask them questions. And when they're taking not so desirable path, you can always bring them back to a track.
Right? You have a discussion about it.
You have a discussion about it. So
okay,
that's what it is.
So maybe, and you said you were working as managing projects.
Yes.
Do you think that helped you manage this project of yours?
No, even before I was a program manager or an architect as such, process architect, I was already doing this by myself. So my investing career has helped me the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Right, it's the other way around.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Shweta.
No problem.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.